Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. The Talking Points memo will be a bit later on. The topic, how religious Americans are processing Donald Trump right now. But first, a Factor World exclusive, the first national television interview with Mr. Trump after the debate and the Access Hollywood exposition. One new ground rule I have put in. If at any time during the interview Mr. Trump feels he is being treated unfairly, he has been asked by me to say that. We will give Hillary Clinton the same courtesy should she decide to talk with us. So, joining us now from Dallas is Donald Trump. All right, first of all, you tweeted today, "It is so nice that the shackles have been taken off me and I can now fight for America the way I want to." What exactly does that mean?
Well, we've been having a problem. We have millions and millions of followers. We set records in the primaries. We have a group of people that want to see America be great again. And Paul Ryan, open borders and amnesty and lots of other, and bad budgets, by the way, very, very bad budgets. Frankly, the only one that Obama negotiates well with is Paul Ryan with the budgets, because that's the only negotiation he can win. He certainly can't beat Iran.
What shackles did you have on?
So, Paul, the shackles are some of the establishment people that are weak and ineffective people within the Republican Party, senators and others. And Paul Ryan, led to a certain extent by Paul Ryan.
They were holding
being
you
nasty
back?
to the nominee.
They were holding you back?
Not question holding back, no, but they're not giving support. They don't give the kind of support. We got more votes, more than 14 million votes, more than anybody in the history of the Republican primaries, Bill. And they don't give the support that we really need.
Okay,
now,
but I'm still confused.
I think I'm better off maybe without their support if you want to know the truth.
You might be, but I'm still confused. You say, okay, the shackles are off, and now I can really do what I want. I mean, what are you going to do that you haven't done? I mean, are you going to be more outspoken?
I don't think I'm that outspoken, to be honest with you, Bill. I think I'm not outspoken at all. No, I don't think. I think I've been very nice.
Well, it's not about being nice. I didn't say you weren't nice. I'm saying you're about as blunt as they come in political circles. That's why you won the primary.
I don't think so. Look,
no.
I went to Ivy League schools. I went, I'm not.
So did I. And look at the big mouth on me.
I know, and look how we turned out.
Okay.
But the fact is that I think we should get support, and we don't get the support from guys like Paul Ryan. He had a conference call yesterday with congressmen, with hundreds of them, and they practically rioted against him on the phone. One person stuck up for him. So I'm just tired of non-support, and I don't really want to support. If he calls now and wants to, this happens all the time. If you sneeze, he calls up and announces. Isn't that a terrible thing? So look, I don't want his support. I don't care about his support. What I want to do is I want to win for the people, because Hillary Clinton, she is a disaster. She is a disaster. And 4 more years of Obama, which will be worse than Obama, but 4 more years of Obama through Hillary Clinton, this country can't take it.
All right, I think you've gotten that point across. I think we all know that. So I want to go forward. I want to see what your forward strategy is. 4 weeks from today, we'll all be voting. You're about 6 or 7% down in the polling now. That's what's trickling out. Certainly you could win. I think everybody who's fair, you could win, but you're behind. So let's start with risk assessment. Have you assessed how you're going to win back women who were offended by the recent exposition from Access Hollywood? Have you a plan to get those women back?
Well, first of all, locker room talk, and most people have heard it before, and I've had a lot of women come up to me and said, boy, I've heard that, and I've heard a lot worse than that over my life. And, if that's why I'm going to lose an election to get rid of ISIS and to create strong borders and rebuild our military and do all the things we're going to do, including Supreme Court judges and saving the Second Amendment because it's under siege with Hillary Clinton, or as I call her, Crooked Hillary, which is what she is. If that's what's going to take to lose an election, that would be pretty sad. Then I have to go back to my other life. But I'll tell you what, I think we're going to win the election, Bill. I think we're going to win the election. People are tired.
You're going to stay the course
of Obama, and they're tired of Clinton.
Okay, you're going to stay the course of what you've been doing. You're not going to add anything new, any targeting commercials, any special speeches?
We already have one. No, we have a great commercial that went out today. I'm right now in Dallas, Texas. I'm flying to Panama City, Florida in just a little while, as soon as I'm finished with this. And we're doing a speech, and we have thousands and thousands of people. I noticed where Hillary is doing a speech someplace in Florida, she's got a small crowd, and they're making it like it's a big crowd. I had 20,000 people last night. Nobody talks about that. They just say Donald Trump spoke. So it's a very unfair press. But one thing I'll say about you, You agree that I've been treated unfairly by the press.
In some cases you have been, but in some cases you're too sensitive. But if you are treated unfairly, and we do have a talking points memo tomorrow that will prove some of that, and you'll be very interested to see what we've come up with. But let's, again, women are the key to this. You're winning with men, all right? And I think you will continue to win with men. But women,
winning
you're
with
behind.
men big.
But you're behind with women. Are you going to target?
I'm not sure I believe it.
You know, whether you believe it or not,
sure
that's what the polling says.
Yeah.
Do you have any plan to speak to women directly or to target them with ads or anything like that?
I do, but what women want, you know, we do the child care program that really Ivanka wanted very, very much. My daughter Ivanka wanted it. I agreed with her 100%. But what women want is they want secure borders. They want safety. They want law and order. They want, you know, they want a police department that's allowed to do its job. They want justice for all. They want a lot of things that everybody else wants, and Hillary Clinton can't do it. She's been doing this stuff for 30 years, and she's failed every single time. I mean, you look at her tenure in New York State, it was a disaster. She's failed at everything she's ever done, including, by the way, ISIS. She created ISIS, in a sense, because of the vacuum left by the way they got out of the war.
Yeah, it was an Obama policy, but remember, it's you know, when you're Secretary of State, I'm not making excuses. You're working for the boss. So now you are a man. Let's get back to
hold it, Bill.
Yes.
You said I could interrupt.
Yes,
okay,
go
just
ahead.
one time.
Yeah.
I hope to not do it again. Just so you understand, there was no ISIS when Hillary Clinton came along.
Of course I understand that.
The way they got out of Iraq, so there was no ISIS, so they were in no countries. Now they're in 32 countries all over the world, including, by the way, the United States
Obama.
big league.
That's
she
on the
has
president.
them coming in. No, it's also on her. She was Secretary of State.
A little bit, but if you get elected president, you're going to tell your Secretary of State what to do, and they'll do it or you fire them. But I want to get back to
Bill, she was there at the beginning. She was there at the proud birth of ISIS. I'm sure she was very proud of it.
Well, she screwed up Libya
with
too.
Nothing.
So she screwed up Libya
was her baby all the way. She screwed up everything. I mean, there's nothing she hasn't screwed up.
Okay, all right. Now, your support. All right, so Ryan is gone. You attacked McCain today as well because he was mad about the tape thing. If you're elected president, you're going to need.
Do you want to hear McCain?
Guys. Well, I know you're going to wail on him. But
desperate
let me ask the question.
He was desperate to get my endorsement. I gave him the endorsement because he needed it for the primary. And frankly, he ran against a very, very good woman. I feel very badly I gave him the endorsement, but that's okay.
All right, but he just
ended up
didn't
getting
like
my
the
endorsement.
tape thing.
He easily wins his primary. And then all of a sudden, you know, he does the unendorsement thing.
He didn't like the
because
tape thing.
He's never heard, I'll give me a break. He's never heard salty language before. You know, John McCain, who has probably the dirtiest mouth in all of the Senate, has never heard, you know, he talked about lewd. It's lewd language.
Can I ask
He's
the
never
question,
heard that before.
Please? If you're elected president, you're going to need McCain and you're going to need Ryan. You're going to need these guys.
They'll be there. Hey, they'll be there. I would think that Ryan maybe wouldn't be there. Maybe he'll be in a different position. But McCain will be there. They'll all be there.
And you think they're going to all cooperate with you after you're trashing them?
I get along. I know you don't believe this. Well, I get along with you for 20 years, so I guess I can get along with anybody, frankly. But to be honest with you, Bill, I get along with people. And I think you know that maybe better than anybody.
I don't know what good it does.
I'll get along with them.
I don't know what good it does to trash people. You can say, I disagree, I wish they would endorse me, but to trash them, I don't know what good that does.
Because he was begging for my endorsement. People are calling. His friends are calling.
Be the bigger man.
The first sign of a little bit of difficulty, he unendorses.
All right.
I wouldn't want to be in a foxhole with a lot of these people. That I can tell you.
But McCain's a brave man.
Including Ryan.
He's a brave man, McCain.
By the way, including Ryan, especially Ryan.
I got that. Okay. Now, when we come back, I'm going to hold you over. I want to talk about the debate. And I want you to be thinking about what in the debate got you angry and what you felt was most important for the American public. All right? So when we come back, we'll talk with Mr. Trump. We really appreciate his time. We know how busy he is. And later, the Talking Points memo on how religious Americans are seeing the presidential race right now. That's up ahead. Continuing now with Donald Trump, who is in Dallas this evening. Okay, on the debate, think back. What's the most important thing you said in that debate?
Well, I think a lot of things, but I would say the most important thing I showed in the debate, and as you saw, virtually everybody other than, you know, some crooked polls said that we won the debate easily, was that Hillary Clinton after being there for 30 years, has done practically nothing except talk. She won't do anything.
All
And
right,
as
so that was
president,
the
if
most
she
important
wins, she won't do anything.
statement
To
you
me,
made.
that's the biggest thing.
Okay.
Because she talks about health care, child care, she talks about everything, but she never does anything. You look at the bills she passed, a few naming projects. She named a couple of buildings or a highway or something. She did practically nothing. Hillary Clinton has been there, and she criticizes and she says what she's going to do, but she never does anything.
But she got some stuff. To be
And-
fair, after 9/11, she did a fairly good job representing New York and getting things in here that the families needed and the victims needed. But I want to go to
Well,
her.
she's not getting credit for much, I can tell you that. People
Okay.
think she was a lousy senator. She came in on the basis that she was going to fix upstate New York and create 200,000 jobs. And guess what happened? Everybody left.
Okay. Now, Hillary Clinton, putting aside the compliments that she gave your children and by extension you, did she say anything in that debate? And trying to be fair here, that impressed you? Anything? Did she have any point of view that was worthy?
Well, I'm sure she said a couple of things, Bill. You're asking me about the debate. I don't think I was extremely impressed with her performance. One thing I will say, right after the debate, they left and they said, oh, Donald was in her space. I never walked near her. I was at my lectern, and all of a sudden she walks right over to me, stands right in front of me, and the next day I read that I was in her space. I watched Lazio lose a debate because he went over to her and stood over her and handed her years ago, I guess, when they were running for Senate. Rick Lazio, nice guy, but he stood over and he took a lot of heat for that. So smart guy.
I thought it was a bogus
decided
issue. I said it last night. I didn't say.
No, wait a minute, Bill.
No,
it wasn't bogus.
I said there wasn't
She
any.
came into my territory. She came into my territory. I was standing at my lectern,
right,
and all of a sudden, from nowhere, she walks right in front of me. So I never walked near her. She stands right in front of me. The next day, I was in her space. I was standing at my chair at my lectern. So this is typical Hillary Clinton. She's a phony person.
All right, but
look,
it was the press. It was
it.
the press that did it, and it was ridiculous. The whole thing was ridiculous.
No, it was the Hillary Clinton camp that spun the press, and the press is an extension of Hillary Clinton. I mean, it's part of the rigged system. The press is a total extension of. Look, if Hillary Clinton didn't have the press, she'd be right now. She wouldn't be running. She would have lost immediately. But if she didn't have the press on her side, and it's a total fixed job. If she didn't have it, she'd be at 10% right now. Nobody wants her.
When you see how you're being treated not only by the national press, but say Saturday Night Live, you got Alec Baldwin now doing you, Kate McKinnon doing Mrs. Clinton. Do you feel that it's coordinated? There's no doubt that most of the press, and I said this from the very beginning, you'll remember, I told you that the day you announced that you were going to get hammered personally, not just because of your policies, just because they don't like you, they don't think you're worthy for this job, all of that.
They don't like what I stand for.
Well,
they
yeah,
don't like what I
that's
stand
true,
for.
but it's
they
more
don't like,
you.
They don't like what are they worthy. I mean, look, I'll compare my IQ with anybody, okay? So they don't like.
But
let
if
me
you
just
compare
tell
you to Romney,
they don't want borders.
They didn't like Romney.
Excuse me.
But it wasn't as personal as it against you. It's personal against you.
Well, I'm very proud to say they say this is the all-time pile-on in history in terms of.
So
the
my
press.
question is it
ran,
coordinated? Do you believe it's coordinated?
Hey, Bill. Yeah, I do think so. Before I ran, I used to get great press. In fact, my wife said the other day, she said, you used to never get a bad story. Well, I got some, but I got very few. Now I have I can be on the front page of the New York Times in 3 different stories, and every one of them is a hit job. And you understand that. No, it's a very unfair press. But I knew it would be bad. I didn't know it would be this bad. I used to talk. I said, boy, am I going to get hit. Because I stand for strong borders. We have to strengthen up our country. We're not going to have a country if we don't have borders. And people are pouring across. By the way, ICE and the Border Patrol guards, Border Patrol agents, just endorsed me. 16,500 agents plus all of ICE.
But you missed an opportunity.
No, ICE was last week, Bill, just so you understand.
You missed an opportunity because in the WikiLeaks exposition, apparently Hillary Clinton said to a bunch of Brazilian bankers that she wants open borders. I thought you were going to hammer that all day long in the debate. You didn't.
The problem is, Bill, I would hammer it, but the press doesn't pick it up. The press is hardly even talking about WikiLeaks. You know that. WikiLeaks is amazing. The stuff that's coming out. It shows she's a real liar. She said, well, you have to say to the public and you have to say to your donors different things, okay? The press doesn't even pick this stuff up. You look at, where have you seen it? They hardly write stories about it.
It got overshadowed by the Access Hollywood stuff. I mean,
No,
on Friday night.
It wasn't overshadowed.
Well, let me just tell you. On Friday night. Just let me tell you. On Friday night, I'm sitting here doing live show. I got WikiLeaks all day long on my show. And then all of a sudden, an hour before airtime, this Hollywood Access Hollywood thing explodes. So everybody's running around like this, you know, bum, 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 and the story got buried. And so that's what happened on that one.
Bill, they should be speaking about what's going on in WikiLeaks. Just today, just before I put this on and stood before your cameras, they have incredible stuff coming out even today. In fact, as soon as I'm finished, I'm going to read it, but it was incredible stuff.
Yeah, it's
you
about
pick it
the
up. Fox picks it up, but nobody else is picking it up.
Well, we reported
CNN, which is totally crooked, you know, the Clinton News Network. CNN, first of all, their ratings are terrible. I don't know if you've seen
their
ratings.
They're doing better because they're on Hillary's side and all of that. But you're right. I'm not going to dispute the fact that
they're doing badly in the ratings.
80% of the press doesn't want you to win. That's a lot, 80%. But you always have a forum here, and I think Fox News is giving you a fair shake. Would you say that's accurate?
I would say, yeah, I would say Fox has been pretty good. Your guys in the morning have been fantastic. You've been fair. I wouldn't say you're the greatest, but you've been fair. I think Fox has been overall. No, you have some great people. Sean Hannity is a great person. You have some great people, and you have some people that, frankly, don't treat me fairly.
All right.
But you've been fine. I'm not going to jump up and down.
I appreciate you coming on because, look, you gain currency coming in here because I'm not.
I do?
Rooting for anybody. I'm asking you the hardest questions I can ask you, and you sit there and you answer them. And guess who doesn't answer
I
them?
do.
Guess who doesn't answer them?
Let me guess. Is it crooked Hillary?
I would never be disrespectful and call her that. But she should.
Yeah, well, that's what she is.
She should.
Yeah.
All right. We appreciate your time, Donald. Thank you very much. Have a good rally this evening.
Thank you.
Directly ahead, we'll have reaction to that interview. Then later, your thoughts on the presidential election. We received nearly 8,000 questions. You guys in the spotlight. Up ahead. Impact segment tonight, reaction to the Trump interview. Joining us from Washington, Heidi Presbella, senior political reporter for USA Today, and Lisa Booth from the Washington Examiner. All right, what was the headline for you in that interview, Lisa?
I'm deeply concerned. I'm deeply concerned because he didn't... Well, he didn't go on the attack against Hillary Clinton. He's not running against the Republican Party. In fact, he needs the Republican Party. He absolutely needs the Republican National Committee to stay with him because he has no ground game or campaign infrastructure without them. So he absolutely needs the Republican Party. And my concern is he didn't talk about Hillary Clinton. He didn't lay out the indictment of Hillary Clinton, whether it was just even the most recent WikiLeaks information that has surfaced about what looks like a pay-to-play with a Haitian industrial park, or the fact that the Hillary Clinton campaign was seemingly coordinating with the White House regarding open records. Yeah, or the State Department, rather. Right, with open records information.
The fact that Mr. Trump is attacking his own party is a major part of this campaign, Heidi. Because now you have a guy who's essentially running as an independent.
It was a good part, and it was a good strategy, Bill, during the primary. And that is the whole problem, is that we are no longer in the primary. And I don't hear from Donald Trump any sense that he sees the need for a course correction and to come out with what is the general election strategy. He sounded just as intent to go after Paul Ryan and John McCain and other Republicans like them as he did to go after Hillary Clinton. And, you know, you really hit at the central issue, which is the woman vote. And there, I sorry to say, I heard a little bit of denial about the fact that there was even a problem. You can't have it both ways. You can't boast about the polls and the primary and then say that they're garbage when they don't suit you in the general election. And that's kind of where we are.
Clearly, Lisa, he believes that he'll win women over with the... that he can get things done for everybody, not just women, and that Hillary Clinton's just a big phony and not going to do anything. I think the general aspect of that message is what he's going to rely upon.
Well, and Bill, I think Donald Trump does best and could do better when he talks about the issues that voters care about. He does have a populist message that does resonate with Americans right now. And Americans want change. There's data points in both national polls and state polls to support the fact that they want big changes to politics, to the economy, and just at large. And so those are issues he can hit, whether it's talking about the economy, whether it's talking about trade, whether it's talking about immigration. I know, but the problem, Bill, is that he does worse when he goes off on these tangents, when he goes off attacking the Trump University judge, the Khan family, Alicia Machado, attacking the Republican Party. He could do better, and he could help, or he could potentially catch up to Hillary Clinton if he focuses on the issues Americans care about, but he gets too easily distracted, and that is his biggest flaw.
Now, Heidi, your organization, USA Today, and the Gannett company in totality has been accused of being very anti-Trump.
Well, I think you're referring to our editorial board decision
but also
to
headlines,
not make an endorsement.
Headlines on USA Today are very provocative against Trump.
Well, I would say that we're in good company with that. Trump's pretty much hit almost every single news organization that's considered a mainstream newspaper outlet, and we've actually never been banned, which is, I think, saying something good, since a lot of news organizations
I may be banned after tonight's interview, so you're right. But would you agree with me that 80% of the national media is looks askance at Mr. Trump? Would you agree with that number?
I think the media played a big role in building Mr. Trump up, and I do think that the media is piling on in terms of taking him down, but with the ammunition that he's been handing to them.
He hands them ammunition, but as I mentioned tomorrow, Lisa, I'll give you the last word, we're going to do a talking points memo where we document now, we have it in writing, all of the sleazy deals that media people have made with the Clinton campaign. And it's awful. It is appalling. It should never happen. Last word, Lisa.
No, I agree with that. And look, it's interesting why the audio tape, why the news media sat on it for so long and it just recently surfaced. Of course, they're in the tank for Hillary Clinton, which is why Donald Trump needs to be the one that is bringing up this information about the Clinton Foundation, the email scandal, and bring the indictment against her on the failed economy and the failed foreign policy. So he needs to be the one that is driving home that message every single chance he gets.
And I think he'll have another chance next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow, in the Las Vegas debate. Ladies, thank you very much. Very kind of you to help us. And to footnotes, we have a brand new BillO'Reilly.com poll for you. If the presidential election were held this week, who would win? All right, we'd like you to vote, BillO'Reilly.com. And also, if you go to the website, we have a podcast on swing states, which you might find very interesting. Everybody can listen to that. Plenty more ahead as the fact moves along this evening. Apparently, there's a split among very religious Americans over the presidential vote. We'll have a report. Then, are some black Americans getting fed up with the Democratic Party not doing very much for them? I hope you stay tuned for those reports. Back to follow-up segment tonight, Talking Points Memo, how evangelical Christians will vote on November 8th. On Saturday, Pastor James McDonald, member of Donald Trump's Evangelical Executive Advisory Board, wrote an email saying he has had enough of Mr. Trump and is withdrawing support. That off the Access Hollywood tape revelation. Now, it's certainly true that Mr. Trump's vulgar comments have disturbed many Americans, not just religious ones. But the debate is very intense in theological circles. That's because the Democrats are the party of secularism. They want to impose taxpayer-funded abortion, no limits on the abortion procedure, and generally take a very dim view of any public displays concerning religion. If Hillary Clinton wins the presidency, you can bet she will appoint a secular liberal judge to the Supreme Court. So religious Americans have a stark choice: rejecting a man with a dubious past on some social issues, including the treatment of women, or supporting that same man, Donald Trump, because he would uphold traditional religious tenets in the political arena. Again, very difficult issue for Americans who hold sincere religious beliefs. So, what to do? Talking Points cannot tell you. It all has to do with your conscience, what you believe is the greater good. As in every election, there are no perfect candidates. Both Clinton and Trump are flawed individuals, as are we all. No one can tell you who to vote for. That would be insulting. But I can tell you this: if Donald Trump loses the support of religious Americans, he will surely lose the election. And that's a memo. Now for reaction, joining us from Dallas, Pastor Robert Jeffress, also a member of the Trump Evangelical Executive Advisory Board. So you know Pastor McDonald. What's your reaction to that?
Look, Pastor McDonald is a friend, and I think he's a good man, but I think he's wrong, especially to label Donald Trump or anybody as, quote, worthless. I mean, I can hardly imagine Jesus saying that. As you pointed out, we're all sinners who need a Savior. But, Bill, the real issue here in this election is it's a binary choice for conservative Christians between one candidate who is pro-life, pro-religious liberty, and pro-conservative justices of the Supreme Court, and the other candidate who holds exactly the opposite views on all of those issues. And to me, for a conservative Christian to stay at home and allow Hillary Clinton to become the president is unthinkable and inexcusable.
All right. Now, just before we went to air, Pastor McDonald issued a blog statement saying that he's not going to quit the Trump campaign or whatever. So he's coming back a little bit from what he said. But what if I'm in your congregation in Dallas, and I come to you and I say, listen, Pastor, I got kids, I got a wife, they can't support this kind of conduct, personal conduct, and I mean, I'll stay home because I don't want to be a hypocrite. What do you say?
Yeah. Well, what I would say is, I would say it lovingly, Bill, I would say, so you're going to support Hillary Clinton?
No, they're going to stay home.
I think character...
They're going to say, because I think the turnout's going to be low.
Yeah.
I think, look, it's estimated that 3 million people didn't vote for Romney because he was a Mormon. So you got a lot of people just not going to show.
Well, Bill, I will still maintain for a conservative to stay home who would normally vote conservative is to effectively cast a vote for the other candidate. And, Bill, this is the issue that's getting lost in all of this. When people say they can't vote for Donald Trump out of character, are they really arguing that Hillary Clinton has a superior character? Here is a woman who destroyed 33,000 emails. She attacked the women whom her husband attacked, and she supports the hideous practice of partial birth abortion. How can anybody say she is more moral or has more character than Donald Trump?
All right. So what I think is going on now is a lot of emotion swirling around the evangelical Christian community, because anything on tape is going to just rise right through the roof.
Yes.
So it's emotion. If what you're saying is true in the sense that the greater good is served, in your opinion, by electing Donald Trump, do you believe the emotion then will tamp down?
I'm not sure it will. I think there's probably more revelations coming out. I have no inside knowledge. I just imagine that's true. But, Bill, I'd like to remind people about Donald Trump. He's owned these comments. He's apologized for them to the people as well as to his family. He said he's a better man. I know Donald Trump personally like you do. I've been around his family for the last year. He's interacted with my wife. He is nothing but a gentleman and a loving person.
Okay.
The Donald Trump I know is not the Donald Trump on those tapes.
Pastor, thanks as always. We appreciate it. When we come right back, Donald Trump has delivered a very strong message that African Americans are being used by the Democratic Party. Is that resonating in black precincts? That debate, moments away. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Bill O'Reilly in the Campaign 2016 segment tonight. One of Donald Trump's favorite themes is that the Democratic Party uses black voters, but does very little to help them in real life.
I've heard them where Hillary is constantly talking about the inner cities of our country, which are a disaster, education-wise, job-wise, safety-wise, in every way possible. I'm going to help the African Americans. I'm going to help the Latinos, Hispanics. I am going to help the inner cities. She's done a terrible job for the African Americans. She wants their vote, and she does nothing, and then she comes back 4 years later.
Joining us now from Washington, Jamila Bey, radio talk show host on WPFW-FM in D.C. So there's some truth to what Mr. Trump says, that African Americans, by many measures, including owning homes, education, are not gaining as much as they should be. Your reaction?
Oh, absolutely. A broken clock is right twice a day. And on this particular point, I think that Donald Trump is on to something. He takes it to a place that I completely disagree with. But absolutely, black people, Latino people, poor American people should be doing better in this wonderful and prosperous nation than they're doing.
Okay, but the Democratic Party has been in charge of cities like Chicago and Baltimore, which are disaster areas. President Obama has been in office almost 8 years, and things have gotten worse. And the big thing that caught my eye, Jamila, is the home ownership rate, because that's a stable rock. Once you're invested in society, of your own home, you're working, raising children, all of that. 41.7%, all right, in the African-American community, far and away. 71% for whites. And that's gone down under President Obama.
Yes, it has.
So
yes, it has.
It says to me that all of the liberal, we're concerned and our policies are targeted. It isn't working for some reason.
It's not working because when you had the banks get deregulated and you had these predatory lenders going into black communities, a lot of communities too. There are white folks I'm talking about too, but Trump conflates black with inner city, which is a problem. But for the purpose of this conversation, we're going to talk about African Americans who are in inner cities. You name Chicago, you name Baltimore. But when you look at the predatory lending practices, the redlining practices where black folks could not go anywhere else, and then they can't get insurance, the rates that they pay for mortgages were higher, the mortgages they were given.
That is, though, because the economy had collapsed because there were so many loans going out to people who weren't able to pay them.
That happened after the systems were put in place to put people in certain areas and prevent them from ever getting out.
Wait. If a black family has a balance sheet and has money in the bank and has a stable position, just like a white, they can get a favorable mortgage because mortgage rates are at an all-time low. The problem is that African Americans, they're not prospering. And the stats, every stat says it. More unemployment among blacks, especially about young black men.
I'm going to argue with you.
Lower educational scores.
No. My demographic, African American women are the most educated demographic in this country. More black women have bachelor's degrees than any other group. When we look at even voting rates, black women are more politically engaged. We outvote our numbers in this population. The proof is before your eyes. The proof is before your eyes in the inner cities in some areas. My friend, I live in the inner city, and when Donald Trump made it clear that I live in some wasteland, crime-infested, third-world country.
Is very violent in black neighborhoods.
I had to tell my friends. I wanted to let them know we live in a wasteland, but they were all at the cantina, and I couldn't make it, so I had to catch them at the dog park the next day.
Wouldn't it be wise for African Americans to keep an open mind about the two political parties? 30 seconds.
My friend, you're right. Black people need to vote, as all Americans do, for the candidate who best serves their interests.
Right.
Not the one who wants to stop and frisk the guys for looking
or the machine politics. Machine politics. I want African Americans to prosper, but I want them to listen to who is right.
Listen to who is best. Make up your own decision.
I'm glad I'm your friend. I appreciate
you are my friend. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on. And your campaign questions are next. Also, critiques of the factor. Then, factor tip of the day. Shocking statement by a Supreme Court justice. Right back. Back in the book segment tonight, the presidential campaign. We asked you to send us some comments and questions about what's going on between Clinton and Trump and about the factors coverage of it. About 8,000 emails rolled in last night. Here we go. Rhonda Dean, Belleville, Texas. If the media are going to be in the tank for Hillary Clinton, how do we get them to be honest about their positions? The public should know we are getting biased information. National media is never going to describe itself as biased, Rhonda. But if you look at the surveys taken, journalists freely admit in those surveys, because they're anonymous, that they support the Democratic Party and liberal tenets far more than the Republican Party and conservative thought. So all Americans who are paying attention should know the score. We don't really need the media to cop to it. Jeff Polyak, Phoenix, Arizona. I don't think Fox News covers the campaign fairly. When the Trump tapes came out, Fox focused more on them than on the Hillary email WikiLeaks situation. So, Jeff, I was confronted, as I told Mr. Trump, the exact situation last Friday night. And here's how the news business works. Any tape, audio or video of a famous person doing anything untoward is going to dominate the coverage. It's the shock of hearing and seeing bad behavior that always overrides reading about it in an email or an article. That's just the way it is. Now, to be accurate, I covered both stories, but the Trump thing engendered far more visceral reaction. Scott Ganella, Virginia Beach, seems unfair that Hillary Clinton never agrees to come on Fox News, yet the network runs her campaign ads all day long. Should be a two-way street. Apples to oranges, Scott, to use a cliche. The Clinton ads are paid by her supporters. They buy airtime on FNC. There's no linkage between advertising and editorial in this company, nor should there be. Now, Hillary Clinton's campaign has told my staff that she'll appear with us. We hope that turns out to be true, but at this point, Secretary Clinton doesn't do many one-on-one interviews, believing that she has the election pretty much wrapped up. Bill Harvey, Colorado Springs, give us a break from all of the political banter offered daily by Clinton and Trump. There are other presidential candidates who have qualified to be on the ballot. Let's hear their visions for America. Governor Gary Johnson and Jill Stein, the two alternate candidates, do appear occasionally on FNC, but voter demand for them is low, Bill. And it's the folks who decide elections. If I see Johnson or Stein gain some momentum, I'll report it, but at this point, they have not. Jennifer Nazarino, Las Vegas. I'm a Democrat who watches The Factor because I believe that you try to be fair to all sides, Bill. But I wonder why you are not on Trump releasing his taxes. We've discussed that with Mr. Trump more than once, Jennifer, but it's a merry-go-round. He's not going to release his taxes. He's going to say he's under audit, and when he's not under audit, he'll do it. Or when Hillary releases whatever, he'll do it. No matter what I say, that's going to be the reply. Now, as a journalist, I'd love to see his tax returns, but I understand why Mr. Trump's not going to release them, because the media would ram anything he releases right down his throat 24/7. Pat Bundy, Genesee Depot, Wisconsin. The Factor seems to be getting like the mainstream media. The guests you have are always liberal, like Charles Krauthammer. Number one, we try to balance the guests, but that depends on the day and what's happening. Number two, Dr. Krauthammer is as far away from a liberal as, say, John Voight. Matt Munn, South Lake, Texas. Bill, I believe your election coverage has been tough but fair and the best in the media. I do business in sub-Saharan Africa, so when I heard Trump being compared to third world dictators, I laughed. Those guys enrich themselves while in office. Who in America has done that? Allegedly done that, Matt. But your letter is perceptive. In this campaign, the hatred on both sides is on full display, but the media does have power. Therefore, we see a lot of lopsided analysis that sometimes veers into hysteria. We try here to balance that with sober coverage. Thanks to everyone who has helped with this segment. We'll do it again in a moment. In fact, the tip of the day, a shocking statement by a Supreme Court justice. The tip, moments away. In fact, the tip of the day, a Supreme Court justice stuns me in a moment. But first, we have a great promotion going on BillO'Reilly.com because the film Killing Reagan will debut this coming Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, repeat at 11 p.m. Eastern for U.S. coasters. And that's on the National Geographic Channel. We are offering everybody a huge bonus. If you buy the book Killing Reagan and my new book Killing the Rising Sun, together, you get a whopping 25% off them. Deals exclusively on BillO'Reilly.com. If you become a premium member or re-up on the website, you get any one of my books free of charge, including those two. One of the, your choice. Or a free DVD of Legends of Lies of Patriots just out today. All right? That's great. Legends of Lies of Patriots is really good. If you missed it, get the DVD. Now, come on. How great is BillO'Reilly.com, right? Rhetorical question. No mail tonight because we did that in the previous segment. But we do have a Factor tip of the day. Yesterday, Yahoo released a clip of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg talking to Katie Couric. What she said shocked me.
What do I think? I think it's really dumb of them. Would I arrest them for doing it? No. Dumb and disrespectful.
Now, I didn't believe Ruth Bader Ginsburg would ever say anything like that. I did not have an open mind about the woman based on her voting patterns over the years. But now, I'm sorry I wasn't more open-minded. And that's a Factor tip of the day. Always leave some room.